How you doing, ladies and gents? Today I'm just merely going to talk about the Iowa caucuses, give you a brief update of those of you who just don't know how to turn on CNN. I've noticed a trend here. It seems that a lot of people are just disgusted with what's going on and just frankly don't even care anymore. And, I can kind of relate. I can sympathize with all of you out there who feel this way. There's times where I just feel like shutting the TV off, throw my arms up, and going to bed. But I urge all of you to remember that we're in real trouble here, and there's only one way out of it, and that's to wake up and try to take back our country. And that's what it comes down to. You can't give up on the red, white, and blue. These candidates, listen, we've been dealing with this time and time again throughout the years. When do we ever really have a candidate that we really, really want? The dream candidate that we all imagine is going to just come out one day and answer all our prayers, and it's not really realistic. I hate to think that we have to revert back to the same politics as usual, choose the lesser of two evils, because we don't have to. There's people out there that aren't evil. There's people out there that are decent, and that's what we have to concentrate on here right now. You look at what happened last night in the Iowa caucuses. You have Romney pulling out a win, and you have Rick Santorum, which I don't think I even talked about in the last time, who has just skyrocketed to the top of the list. And my man Ron Paul came in at a close number 3. Newt Gingrich came in trailing at 4, and the rest of them, were pretty low in the single digits, which was Rick Perry, Michelle Bachmann, and John Huntsman. Everybody's not really counting John Huntsman because he didn't campaign in Iowa. They're waiting to see what he does in New Hampshire, because that's where he lives. That's where he based his whole campaign out of. So that remains to be seen. I don't think it's going to matter much. I don't think we're going to see much more of him. I don't think we're going to see much more of Bachmann, and from what I gathered last night at Rick Perry's speech, I think we have seen the last of him. So it's going to come down to 4 people: Mitt Romney, Rick Santorum, Ron Paul, and Newt Gingrich. And if you watched my last video, I claim that we just can't vote anybody in. It can't be this anybody is better than Obama mentality. That's what I said last time. I don't know whether to retract that statement or not, because things are pretty damn bad. Another 4 years of Obama, they could get real bad. But I look at someone like Mitt Romney and I see the same things going on. I really don't see a defining difference between Romney and Obama, and that's my problem. I cannot support Romney, period, no matter what. If he's the Republican nominee, I just can't get behind that, and that's just my personal view. I don't really care for Rick Santorum too much either. I did a little digging on him last night because I didn't know too much about him. My big thing is the Second Amendment, as most of you know who watched this. And I learned some pretty disturbing things. For somebody who worked in Pennsylvania, you think you would be pro-guns and working hard for the Second Amendment, but it's actually the quite opposite. So there alone, is enough reason for me not to like him. And you got Ron Paul, which is still my guy, and he came in number 3, real strong in Iowa, and he's moving on to New Hampshire. Got to see what he does there. He's got a lot of followers like me, and hopefully he can make some real headway here and show that he's a real candidate, a real person that needs to be taken seriously. Because that's the big problem with Ron Paul. Nobody's taking him seriously. So he got, majority of the votes, but that doesn't count because he's not electable. They're never going to nominate him as the Republican nominee, and I refuse to believe that. You can't ignore facts. You can't turn your head when numbers are being thrown at you like this. He has overwhelming support across the board. Democrats, independents, and Republicans all like him. What we're dealing with right now with Obama, the fact that nothing can get done because Congress and him are constantly in battle. That's the big issue. You want to put somebody in here that's so conservative that you have everything going exactly the same on the other spectrum of things. Now nothing's getting done because the guy's too conservative. But you have to be careful because Romney's what I consider a flip-flopper, a moderate, but still has very poor views, very similar to Obama in my opinion. Romney care. You look at it, it's pretty close to Obamacare. It's not one and the same. Obamacare came from that idea. So you really have to think about things like that. I don't know how much, if you guys have been following this or not. You really should. It's important to us. It's important to our country. That's kind of why I'm throwing this out there. Those of you who don't get a chance to take a break or watch CNN or whatever, you know what I mean? Maybe you watch this and say, oh, all right, that's what's going on. I just try to break it down in layman's terms. So hopefully Ron Paul will make a real headway, and then people have to recognize him as a serious candidate. But as of right now, who knows? Rick Santorum probably has a better chance of beating Romney for the GOP. I guess if Rick Santorum was the GOP nominee, I don't know. I don't know still, even with him, if I could, back that. Newt Gingrich still could surge ahead. And I got to tell you, I know that this is going to be unpopular because a lot of people don't like him, but at least I don't like him either. But I think I could possibly support him if he got the nomination, as opposed to Romney and Santorum. I just don't think I could get behind it all. For the reasons I've stated. Gingrich, I'm going to do some more digging on that and, see if there's something I can find, more information I can find out about him to let you know what he stands for. But, I mean, the things that I kind of like about him, or off the cuff, is the fact that he wants to change the child labor laws for poor families around the world. You have a teenage kid. It's hard for the kid to get a job these days. They got to be like 16, nobody will hire them, and he wants to change the laws a little bit to let younger kids work at schools and this and that, help out, and just a little extra cash with the income in the family. That's a good idea. From somebody who has a teenage boy, that's a great idea. I can't tell you how much that would help. And that's the big thing with Newt Gingrich that I like. Another thing that he he has said is the fact that the immigration thing. He stood away from everybody else and said something that wasn't very popular, and that took a lot of courage in my opinion. The fact that he wouldn't just uproot people that have been here for like 25 years and laid foundations in the community and the churches. That shows that he cares about people in some degree, and community in some way. So, and he speaks the truth. None of the politicians really speak truth, but he speaks what's on his mind, I guess you could say. And I like people like that just kind of come out and say things. Like Romney, that fake smile, that fake persona, it disgusts me, that guy. I don't like him one bit. I will not get behind him. No way. And, whether you do or not, that's your decision. I don't think it's a smart idea to just choose anybody who's running against Obama, like I've said before. and I'll state it again. I don't think that is good to choose the lesser of two evils. Choose the guy who you can associate with, that shares some of your views. Fine, but don't choose somebody just because they're running against Obama. That's my point. And people, we're going to lose the election, Obama will re-elect. Not if everybody has this view. If everybody comes together, we got a chance here at making a real difference. That's why I refuse to give up on Ron Paul. I think the more he goes around and spreads the word, and everybody else and the supporters, everybody's going to really see what he's about. And then be like, hey, you know what? This guy obeys the Constitution, which is the most important thing you can do as a president. You cannot just piss it away or throw it away or just ignore it. It's the foundation of what America is. We were all built from the bottom up. And it started right there. We the people, by the people, for the people. That's all I got. It's yours now.